Hello and welcome back to another episode of Corgi Town USA. I am Candy Kemp, owner of Corgi Town USA. In my lap is Chuckles, the spokes corg. I also have Booger and Mortimer at my feet. Hammer's around here somewhere. We also have Cat and her brood, extension of the Corgi Committee.
That's right. So I'm Kat Cohen. I'm the executive producer of Corgi Town USA podcast. And with me is Digby, my corgi, and Wiggin, my pseudo corgi. And he's not even a pseudo corgi. He is a full on blue heeler. But he is surrounded by corgis, and I think he thinks he's a corgi sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the sass.
He's got the sass. He
Yeah,
definitely
got
has
the
the
sass
sass.
down. He has the well, he was former agility, so he's got the energy. He used to have the
He
energy.
does. Well, he's
He's
14.
older.
He's 14 now, but he still
Senior.
has it in the mornings. He has a lot of energy, like lots of energy.
What is that like? I do not
With
have energy in
yeah,
the morning.
yeah, I don't know, but that's when he has like older humans. He kind of sundowns.
Oh.
Toward the afternoon, he gets a little more tired, a little more cranky. Yeah,
Am I a senior?
no,
I feel that. I feel that, Wiggin. I feel you. I feel you, Wiggin. I feel it. I do. Oh, bless you. We have
you have a sneezy.
a sneezing Mortimer down there. Why are you sneezing? Okay, well, let's get to the task at hand, shall we?
Yes.
We are bringing on Bob Ryan tonight. He has a corgi in which he does disc dog. So we're going to hear about some fun um, corgi shenanigans. Should we bring one?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Well, I just want to say I'm very excited because, as you know, for Digby, I'm looking for something to do. Wiggin was an agility dog, but not necessarily want to go back to agility. I was never in agility. Wiggin's daddy was in agility,
Yeah.
and does we don't really want to do that. I was thinking maybe fly ball, and I'm thinking maybe disc. So I am as excited as all of you are to hear all about disc.
We should get some juicy info.
Yes.
Let's bring on Bob.
Bob. Hi,
Hi,
Bob.
Bob. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Well, we want to hear. Tell us first. This is Corgi Town, USA. So we're going to ask you about how you got started and all the good stuff. But tell us first about your Corgi Bagel.
Well, I got Bagel through Angie Loudermilk. Actually, she owns with her husband Howling Kennels Corgi Rescue in Springfield, Ohio. So shout out to them and all the good work they do.
Yay.
Bagel was actually one of her dogs that she kept. She was looking to maybe do service work with him, or just didn't know where he fit within her pack. And he didn't. He had a little too much angst. I guess I don't know what the wording is. Energy for service
Thanks.
work. So I had a terrier mix, Bella, that was a little shy. Bagel's very outgoing, and I knew he had to drive for this, so I asked if I could just keep him for the summer. That would help Bella maybe break out of her shell. And he just went from 0 to 60. He just once he picked up the rules, and she made the hard decision. She said I could keep him, and she had some other dogs that were coming in. She was working with, so she said he's having a blast with you. We're traveling all over, competing, doing shows. She said he's yours. So I appreciate that wholeheartedly. Yes.
What a
Agree.
great story. Oh,
Agree.
that's amazing. And
Yes.
it's like he was born for it.
Yeah. If he literally, I mean, I tell people, he really was. I mean, if you ever see him, it's what he loves to do. It really is.
Aw.
I love that. Well, so Bob has a YouTube channel. And it's Corgi Frisbee Dog. So if you go to YouTube and you search Corgi Frisbee Dog, you will find Bagel doing what he loves. It's Bob Raider 937. That's the tag for. But we highly encourage you go see some of this amazing work that's being done. But tell us about Disc Dog and how you got started, because you brought on Bagel
Sure.
to do it. So give us that history if you don't mind.
Well, this dog is what commonly most people refer to as Frisbee dog. Frisbee being a name brand of the toy, disc is the generic term, like facial tissue would be for Kleenex.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Bella, and she was a little shy. She was my terrier mix I got first, looking for her to build her confidence, various sports. Got her in agility. She did real well. I just couldn't remember the courses, and so it wasn't really something I was enjoying, but she enjoyed it. So we did some agility. But then I went on YouTube and looked up just dog sports, and I came across a frisbee dog video, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is so cool, because I knew Belle liked to play fetch. So I called up the local disc dog club. I live in Columbus, Ohio now, but at the time Dayton, and
Mhm.
it was the Southern Ohio Flying Canines, which I'm actually a part of now. So a couple of their members took me on board, taught me how to get Bella started, and then it went from there.
That's so awesome. And I was watching some of the videos. I mean, that's intense. You're expelling a lot of energy doing that.
Thank you. It's fun. It really is. The dogs, they just have a blast. We make it fun. It's all about the bond. They don't know how they score anyways, right? So
I don't care. Did you give him a treat? Okay, that's fine.
exactly.
Did I get a treat? Did I earn a treat?
Yeah.
You know what?
Exactly.
Speaking of treats, so as the human, see, I hate that term.
Human?
Well, no, when so Eric says, "Well, I'm Digby's human," and I say, "No, you're Digby's daddy," and he goes, "No, I never taught him that," and I'm like, "No, like I'm his mommy now, and
Oh.
you're his daddy," and so anyway, as his daddy and the person who is doing the frisbee with him, are you expelling like as much energy as they are?
It depends on it. It's a dance, right? You're
Okay.
just a dance with toys, and so it depends on the team. Um, Bagel's probably working a little harder than I am, but I'm an older guy, and don't have my knees like I used to.
Yeah,
Some teams, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm just wondering how many cookies I can get, how many treats I can have if I work with Digby.
If we do our own frisbee dog, disc
Yeah.
dog, like we can just eat what we want.
I think so.
Hmm.
I mean, there are
We-
some teams that it's 50-50. The handler and the dog are working just as hard. Bagel's probably working a little harder than I am. I mean, I'm working just as hard, but I'm probably not as mobile. Let me say that.
Right.
Yeah,
But it's a
he's
lot of
he's
fun.
moving pretty fast on those little legs.
Thank you. Yeah, he's got some pep to him.
Yeah, I imagine he's probably burning some calories.
It is,
Burning some
and
calories.
like I saw your podcast with the trick trainer, and
Mhm.
they're also
Alyssa.
burning mental energy, which is just
Yes.
as important. You guys know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they're getting physical exercise and the mental exercise all in one.
Yeah, that mental stimulation is very important. I don't think that's just thought about as often as pet owners,
Yes.
parents. Sorry,
As parents.
parents. But I think when you have a pet, you think, oh, they definitely need to be walked. We need to play. We need to play ball. We need to do these things. But that mental stimulation is just as important, especially when you have a highly intelligent animal. Like a corgi, a working breed, they're used to being able to problem solve and
Yes.
see
Exactly.
those little cogs turning. They
Yes.
need those just as much as they need their little stumps moving.
Very much
Yes.
so.
Agree.
So I have a question about, since we're talking about this sport and how much energy you expend and how intense it can be, how do you keep the corgi safe? They have that stature with long backs and short legs. And I actually want to do a segment. I want to do a video short on how the proper way is to pick up a corgi, because I see people picking up corgis on the internet stuff, and I'm like, oh, please be careful. That's
Yeah.
very easy to hurt them. It's hard. It's not a thing to think about, but how do you keep the corgis safe with
Yeah.
their stature while you're doing this?
I don't want to use the word controversial, but that is a broad spectrum kind of question.
Yeah.
Some, in disc dog in general, there is that possibility of injury. It's just like in any dog sport.
Sure.
Me myself, my own decision. I own this. We do what's called my other dog Bella. She's built where she can handle the vaults where they jump off our body and catch a frisbee in air, flips where it looks like they're doing a flip.
Wow.
I don't. Yeah, Bella can do that because her body structure is kind of like more of a Jack Russell. Where Bagel, because of his long back, short legs, just me personally, I never do any of that with them. I
Mhm.
know other handlers that have corgis that do, and that's okay. That's their prerogative.
Sure.
But for me, I'd rather sway on the side of caution and be as safe as I can. So I
Right.
keep as best as I can the throws low. I really don't like him jumping. If he does jump, under 6 inches if I can. Anytime I do sometimes throw off where he kind of jumps a little higher than I prefer, I'm always like, oh, but he handles it. I mean, he's knock on wood, very
Yeah.
limited injuries. So just normal stuff that could probably happen in any dog sport. So knock on wood, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Well,
I
and
always try
so
to play safe.
it's more of a bowling type of a toss motion than an
Yeah, I just
overhead
keep,
throw.
we do your basic forehand, right? I just try to keep it right level with him, where maybe he has to jump just a few inches, if that.
Okay.
Sometimes the wind might take it where I'm like, oh no, but and he's at the age now where he kind of knows his body and how he can jump and land safely.
Mhm.
Sometimes takes a bit for the dogs to learn that too.
Right. And I've had lazier out of the 8 corgis I've had some lazier corgis and I've had some more active corgis. But my first corgi, I used to call him kamikaze because he just would didn't matter how tall, didn't matter what it was, and Digby's almost like that
Digby is
too.
a lot like that, and I have to watch him. In fact, Eric cautions me when I throw. I tend to throw overhand. You can't see my hand. I tend to throw overhand. I tend to to sidewind, and Eric wants me to bowl them more.
Yeah, like what we're talking about. Because the and to your point, Bob, they're not supposed. I've had a vet tell me that they shouldn't be jumping any taller than the length of their back.
Right.
That's kind of the baseline. That's the rule. And it is hard because Chuckles is ball obsessed. Ball obsessed. This
Yes.
boy will play ball till his legs fall off and then he'll find a way to keep playing.
Yep.
And so if you do toss it, like you were saying, the wind catch it, that'll happen sometimes. And we have inside toys and outside toys because I've banned having them go back and forth. But yeah, that does happen. And I'll see him kind of go up and oh, please land correctly. Please land. You have that little mini panic attack of, but that's really good advice to be able to watch how you throw, that you are throwing in line in a way that which they can catch without having to jump or flip because they will try it in
Yeah.
pursuit
They'll,
of that ball.
yeah. They'll do crazy stuff. That just
Very little self-preservation.
yeah. Very much so. Very much so. Is this a scoring sport? Is this a how do they score this sport?
There's two different main games, if you will. Freestyle, which you have multiple frisbees, you incorporate tricks into a sequence routine, different releases of the frisbee. And then there's toss and fetch, which is probably what most people do in their backyards. You throw it for every 10 yards, additional point accumulations, and they usually get a 60-second round. So depending on freestyle, it's different categories. There's, I think, 5 categories, depending on the venue.
Right.
And then with toss and fetch, that's pretty standard. It's first zone is no points, 1, 2, 3, and then 5 points, depending on the venue, but normally. And then you will get additional points if they catch all 4 paws are in air. But it depends on the venue. But that's typical.
Okay.
Well, I learned something.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, you get extra points for being airborne.
And Digby is airborne a lot. I mean, with the tennis ball, he's airborne an awful lot.
I think he prefers to be airborne.
I think he just
he seems to seek it out.
he thinks that he can fly.
He does.
He hangs out with the chickens in the backyard too much. I think that's what has happened. And he believes he is one of them.
Wait up, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go flight with you. So tell us about you were talking about the branding of the disc, the Frisbees. Are there certain types of disc, if there's non-brand name, that are safe for dogs, preferred for dogs? How does that product work?
Yes, unfortunately, one of the worst Frisbees you can buy are the $1 ones you find at the pet stores because they're very they're not plausible, they're hard. So what might happen is if the dog bites into it and it's too hard, it doesn't have a bend to it, it will break. And that could potentially get into their gums. And then they'll never want to play Frisbee again, right? Yeah. So what we play, and I hate they sell them in the pet stores, but it is what it is. And those are those 99-cent ones.
Okay.
At my level where I compete, we have to play with plastic. So there's 2 main brands. There's Hyperflight, Hero. Those are the 2 main brands. Their discs have a lot more plausible. They're I don't know what the word is, but when they bite, the dog will never break the disc. If anything, it might puncture where it'll get a small hole.
So it's
never
malleable.
gonna hurt the dog. It's a
Right.
hole about the size of, I mean, literally the tip of their tooth. And that's if they have a really strong bite. So no matter what, it's not going to hurt the dog like a cheap plastic one would, because they're designed for the dogs, not for the handlers. So they're harder
Right.
for us to throw, but easier for the dog to catch.
So it's a malleable material. That makes sense.
Correct.
Is it heavy?
Depending, it varies. Some
Okay.
are light, some are heavy. If it's a heavier biting, my friend has a corgi that's a heavy biter, a big biter, strong biter. So he has to use the heavier ones, or else his dog will
Okay.
tear through.
Got it.
Fortunately, Bagel, he doesn't have super strong of a bite, so I can use a lighter disc. And then the fabric ones, depending on the venue, those fabric ones are fine.
Right.
Fabric ones, you don't want to use one with a hole in the middle. I would not advise, because the dog might get their foot caught in. Or
Okay.
some of them have like a metal ring around. I'd stay away from those because those could break off. But any of the cheap or Kongs, those are fine.
Okay.
Because the
So
Kong
you
ones
were-
have that rubber material.
Comms.
Kong, yeah, the Kong,
Yeah,
like
the
the
brand
Kong
name
toys,
yeah.
KONJ or KONZ. I can't
KONG.
tired.
Yeah.
Good thing
Yeah,
I teach math, not spelling. But those are fine because the dog's not going to break the disc. If anything, they might puncture it, which is you just sand it down, not a big deal.
So that
So it
sounds
won't
like
hurt the dog.
well, and I love the Kong toys because they are
Yeah, those are fine.
virtually indestructible, just as far as toys, virtually indestructible. But they're heavy duty. They tend to last. Well, that's Digby. He's
Yeah,
special.
he's
Digby
special.
kills the Kongs. But so Kong is a brand. You mentioned Frisbee, and then you mentioned what was the other brand again? You said
Yeah, Frisbee. That's actually I don't know who actually owns Frisbee, but we use the main two are Hyperflight and Hero.
Hyperfight. Okay.
Yeah,
And what was the second one? I keep
they have
missing
an
the second one.
Hyperflight and then Hero HERO Hero.
Okay.
They have an assortment of this, different sizes, different diameters, different weights, different I don't know plausibility is that the word? Really, it depends on your dog, but they're all safe for the dog versus those cheap plastic ones that I would not recommend.
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up because listener, viewer, if you're considering starting this and you go over to YouTube and you see some of these people like Bob doing this with Bagel, and then you decide that you want to try this with your dog, with your corgi, this is great information to have because otherwise, if you not told me, I would have thought that the plastic Frisbees would be fine. I wouldn't have thought much about it, I don't think.
Exactly.
If you have friends that disc golf, those are bad for the dogs as well. Ultimate Frisbee disc. You want a dog or a disc that's specifically designed for the dogs.
Right.
And they cost a little more, but that's okay because they're so much safer.
They're so much safer. I mean, how much does it cost if you've got to take them to the vet, really, when you think about it?
Yeah.
And
That's not affordable. I have 4 corgis. I can tell you how unaffordable it becomes.
Not at all.
Yes.
When you have 4 and you're always in the vet. But we also want to keep our baby safe as well.
That's right. That's
Sure.
right.
So are you go to these tournaments and you go and you compete. Have you been to some cool places and cool events? Where has this taken you?
Yeah, Bagel, some of his accolades are we like to compete in a venue called Up Dog Challenge. And he was the runner-up in 2018 in freestyle in the mini dog division at their
Go
World
Bagel!
Championships. Yeah.
Yeah.
His ears probably popped off somewhere. And then in 2019, he won the World Championships in the mini dog division in Toss and Fetch, which it's throw and go is their name of Toss and Fetch. And then besides, he's been a multiple world qualifier in other venues. And then as far as us doing shows and just showing what we do, we've gotten to perform in front of 65,000 people at the Bengals games multiple times and done NCAA basketball games and pro soccer games. And we've been to schools and day camps. And so we do a ton of shows where we just have fun, go out there, not care about scores or any of that, just playing for the applause. So that's a lot of fun.
Bagel's a celebrity.
Bagel is a celebrity.
He's very humble. They know him. They don't know me. We made a jumbotron at the Cincinnati Bengals game. Well, he made the jumbotron. They didn't show me. My friend took a picture and said, "Isn't that Bagel?" I said, "Well, yes, it is."
Yes.
That's my foot. That's okay.
There it is.
He's the
So
rock star. He's the man.
what's more fun, the giant jumbotron and Bengals games, or the kids at schools and camps?
Tough call. We just did a show for maybe 100 fourth, fifth graders. Oh my gosh, you would have thought you're at a rock concert. So those kids were screaming, yelling, cheering the dogs on.
Aw.
I mean, they both are equally as fun because that crap, those kids were, it was fun. So it's equal.
Yeah.
Cool.
You have that very eager audience to
Yes.
cheer on. I
Yeah.
mean, I think I would be just as enthusiastic as the children.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Bagel! I go Beatlemania.
Oh, they're
Bagel.
cheering bagel, bagel. I said, holy cow.
Aw.
Bagel's fan club.
Yes. He's popular with I think it's the height.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think
You are
so.
our size.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Kids absolutely love the corgis.
Everybody loves the
amazing.
corgis.
Everybody loves the corgis, but the
Yeah,
little
they're
ones
fun.
just-
Our people do anyway.
yeah,
Our listeners and viewers. Yeah. We're all corgi people here.
we are.
We
are.
love all the doggos though.
we do
And the kitty
Sure.
cats.
and the kitty cats.
Yeah. We love the pets. So
What
if
they
we were
say.
if we were to ask you, what would you tell, since I love that you've given us this information about the type of disc that we should be using. That is very, very important. What would you tell someone who wants to get started? Maybe that
I-
they're serious enough.
So
Yeah.
as I said at the beginning, when Candace and I were chitting and chatting,
Chitting and chatting.
I don't know what to, I don't know what to do with Digby. He loves chasing the ball around, and we live on an acre, so I've got a really long, distance to throw, and agility is a little bit out, and fly ball maybe, and maybe disc dog. So tell me about disc dog. What do I need to do to start?
How should you get started?
There's a couple different avenues you could go. There's a ton of online resources that multiple world champions offer through online classes, interactive classes. So you could go that route. You could Google search or whatever search your local disc dog club. And that would be volunteers typically who get together and play with the dogs and like what I'm part of.
Okay.
Yeah, most of your training centers may not offer disc dog. It's kind of more grassroots at this point. Hopefully, maybe one day it'll be in all the training centers. Canine Frisbee Toss and Fetch League is a huge, booming avenue as well. You could get on their website, do a quick search, and there's teams that compete, kind of like in a dart league. How you would go
Right.
to your local watering hole to play darts. It's that, but it's Frisbee Dog League. May take some traveling. There are some, like we have teams that drive from Cincinnati area to hang out with us in Columbus. And so, but yeah, a bunch of different ways you could get involved.
Cool.
So there's likely in certain regions,
Mhm.
since it is grassroots, you could find local to your region and join.
Yep. And if there isn't anybody within a whatever mile drive, like I said, there's the online resources that, they'll work with you via online, through the internet. And that's pretty cool too. You're working with multiple world champions right there, at your fingertips. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
That might
yeah,
be fun.
yeah. There's a couple different avenues people go.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for that. I want to share if you're listening, you definitely want to go to YouTube. It's Corgi Frisbee Dog, so you can see Bagel and Bob in action, and you will not be disappointed, I promise, especially if you are a Corgi fan, seeing a Corgi get down and live his best life. But you can follow Bob Raider 937 on YouTube so that you can see some of these amazing videos. So if you're listening or if you're watching, please go to the YouTube page so you can see Corgi Frisbee Dog, see Bagel. Any final thoughts for our audience, Bob?
No, I hope everybody gets encouraged to just do something with your dog. But if Frisbee is what, that might pique their interest, even if it's just playing in the backyard, go for it. The dogs don't know how they score. Go out, have fun.
You can keep score, but just enjoy the time with your dog. Meanwhile,
Absolutely.
go to Corgi Frisbee Dog on YouTube and see
Yes.
how Bagel operates, and you can learn. And if you comment on the video, maybe Bob will respond. And
That's right.
Sure.
And Bob, once more for me, oh yeah, in the listening audience. What
for Kat.
was that that association that you had mentioned?
There's Canine Frisbee Toss and Fetch League. That's
Toss and
the
Fetch League.
cities have teams that compete against each other in a weekly toss and fetch is where you throw it every 10 yards to get points.
Okay.
That's a good way to get started, or they can search on the internet local disc dog club. Something may come up.
Right.
Or if they go on Facebook, and they can message to me
Okay.
or on my YouTube page. There's a bunch of different, world finalists, world champions that offer online classes as well to help people get started.
Well, I may reach out to you, but in the meantime, I'm going to look up Toss and Fetch and take a look at some of the videos.
Sure.
And then Digby and I will have a conversation, and I will see if he is interested in doing that.
maybe there'll be a new YouTube for Digby and his.
Maybe. Or at
Yes.
least expend some of his energy.
Yes. Well, and the mental stimulation will be very
Yes.
good for him.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's addictive. I'm warning you. It's
Okay.
once you start getting into it,
I'm good with that.
it's like Christmas when you get your first, box of frisbees. It's oh gosh.
All right. I'm looking forward.
You
You'll
found
have
your
a
new
blast.
thing, maybe. You may have
Maybe.
found your new thing.
I'll report back.
All right.
Well, Bob, thank you so much for spending your evening with us and giving us this information and sharing about Bagel. Is he
Sure,
near
thanks
you?
for having me. Oh yeah, Bagel. You want? Sure, Bagel.
If you're listening and not watching, we're going to try to see if we can get Bagel on camera for anybody watching.
Bagel, right here. I know. Come here, Bagel. Let me pick you up. Come here, Bagel. Big jump. There's the big man.
Bagel! Oh, what a cutie.
You
Back in the limelight. Little celebrity.
Yep, there you are. He's 10 years old. Would you believe it?
Oh my goodness.
And you guys are still competing?
Yes.
That's remarkable.
Yes.
That is wonderful.
Yes. He's still, when he tells me he's done, if, that time comes, then we'll put the Frisbees away. But until then, we'll keep rocking and rolling.
It's probably
Beautiful.
keeping him young.
Yep.
Yes.
I would
Agree.
agree.
We're friends with I don't know if you know Super Corgi Jojo, the surfing corgi.
Sure.
But that's
I think
that's
so,
one of
yeah.
our
Aw.
corgi friends, and we were just at the Nationals a couple weeks ago, and Super Corgi Jojo, he's 11 now. But
Wow, and still surfing
Yeah.
and riding those waves.
Yes, he's still
Cool.
riding the waves, and he competed in the Nationals.
Nice.
There you go.
I think he made. I can't remember if he was a finalist. I'm being a bad dog friend because I don't remember, but he did compete. He and his bro for Kilo, they both raced. So I love it. I love
Nice.
keeping the corgis nice and active, and especially when they're seniors and you hear about them doing these wonderful things. Just warms my little heart.
Yeah.
Agree.
I'm too active. I'm a senior, so
You're
Oh,
a
my little
senior.
heart.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this broadcast has gone south. We got to put Kat to bed. Apparently, she's past her early bedtime. But Bob, thank you again so
Thank
much,
you.
and thank you for
Sure.
sharing Bagel.
Thanks
Have a
for having
great
me. You guys
Thank
too.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Your new thing.
It might be.
You're gonna get him started. You got to order the good discs he was talking
Order
about.
the good discs, yeah, and toss and fetch. I think that might be fun. As I said earlier, I'm not sure that the fly ball, which is a team sport,
Right.
is going to be Digby's strong
Too
thing,
much
but
stimulation, maybe
too much stimulation
in groups.
but I think just he and I together, he is just so attached to me.
Right? He responds to you well.
He does. So that might be it.
Ah.
We may have found our new sport. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for some Digby shenanigans, maybe.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We highly recommend that you go check out Bagel on Bob's YouTube page. We'll share that link in comments so that you can look. It'll be both on the internet for the audio podcast and here on our YouTube broadcast. We also hope that you will follow us if you don't subscribe to our YouTube already. But we are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as Corgi Town USA. We would love for you to follow us so that we can share our wonderful Corgi committee members with you.
And share your wonderful corgis with us.
Yes, we love those comments, picture comments, video comments. Direct message us your beautiful Corgi friends and honorary Corgi friends. We love to see them.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us every Thursday. We're here for your Corgi lifestyle fun. Candy Cat, Chuckles, Mortimer, Booger, Hammer, Digby, and Wiggin.
That's
Whole
right.
Corgi committee, have a wonderful evening.
Good night.